With the 182nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Talon Green, quarterback, Arkansas.
We got QB1 here in Cleveland.
Somebody's listening to me talking about size, speed, development, just being able to. You're gonna bring the athlete, but let's think about this from Todd Monken's perspective. He just spent a couple of years working with Lamar Jackson. He transformed Lamar Jackson a little bit from the dual threat that he was into more the player. I'm just saying, we're talking about the highlights. Just let your eyes look at the highlights there. He's not playing little kids. He is over here in the SEC running around and doing it. And I'm not saying that he's a perfect player, but there's a lot to work with. At least you throw a dart on the athleticism. And I said that. And Taylor, you're not going to like this. I'm going to let you start at quarterback. But please believe we're going to put you on the judge machine. Because if it doesn't work there, there's a wideout spot waiting for you on this roster. Absolutely, he's a slash. He
doesn't want to hear that at all.
He doesn't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell him. My job is to tell him the truth. There's a slash waiting for you. So when he looks in his locker, there's going to be a red jersey. But another jersey, just in case, scout team, we need to run some routes.
You know, I get it when players come out, they don't want to hear that, a player like a moving position type of idea. And then you see Julian Edelman and you see Antoine Randall, longtime Super Bowl winners. Terrell Pryor, just get in the league and stay there.
With the 183rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Carson Shire, linebacker, Iowa.
Yeah, he's typical. It just seems like there's one of these guys coming out all the time with the with Iowa Hawkeyes. He is one of those guys who's going to immediately step in and become a special teams guy right off the bat. It's one of the things that he's able to do. He's got that face-first mentality. He plays with quick recognition of misdirection. He can stay dialed into the backfield to pick up his assignments. Fearless on cover teams and a capable blocker on kickoffs. And this is who he. He's face first. Don't worry about that. The Cardinals drafted him more than likely they hope he'll be a backup linebacker when they watch him on tape because they already know that he's going to be their special teams ace. That's one of the things. Only 1 year as a college starter at Iowa, though, so still needs to tighten up the linebacker stuff, but very good on team.
Connie and Scale, Seamus is on. I'm Dum. How's it going? I'm Seamus. I'm here in Dublin, Ireland at Nafina GA Club with some future Titans. Right, lads? Yeah. And our next pick is a banger. With the 184th pick in the NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Aki Marshall, defensive tackle, Baylor. You ready, guys? Tighten up! Let's go!
All right, time to get fired up. And, at some point I started to think to myself from a Tennessee perspective, we showed you the photo there of Robert Saleh, just thinking about how to strengthen that team on the defensive side. They've dipped into Baylor for the defensive tackle.
Aki Marshall from Ireland. That's where he was born. He wasn't born in Ireland. He did gain 60 pounds, as you saw there. So he came in as a linebacker and leaves as a defensive tackle. It's an interesting draft Tennessee has had. And we saw a picture earlier of Carnell Tate and Keldrick Falk. And it got me thinking, we were a little surprised at Carnell Tate. It's a risky, but it's one we're going to look at. And here's Bo Sharp. Bo Sharp's inline blocker. He can actually get in, I shouldn't say that. He can actually get in some space and make some plays as well. So he's one of those combo Ys who can play inline for you or get into space and make an occasional catch and run. He's a pretty good athlete. He has all kinds of karate for you right there, as you see, leaping in the air, giving you a knee to the face. But Bo Sharp, yet another tight end. Just run the total up on that one, Mike. Where are we at on the tight end count?
17 now, tight ends. 17
tight ends. We're running out of. We got Jack Endries from Texas, who will still be drafted. That'll be 18 for sure. So, but getting back to that, Tate and Falk in your first round picks. They're going to look back at this draft, Titans fans, NFL fans, and they're going to say, boy, what were you guys doing? You had a chance to have Arvell Reese. You had a chance to have Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and you chose not to do it. And then, you traded a draft pick to move up for Keldrick Falk, who didn't have really a true position, didn't have any production. Or they will say you nailed a wide receiver for for your young quarterback who needed to find a good wide receiver he could grow and count on and grow with, especially one from Ohio State who develops tons of really good wide receivers. Then you got a developmental player who grew into his body, grew into his game, and Keldrick Falk. And, it's going to be one of two things probably. Either what were you doing in that draft, or they're going to say, this is very forward-thinking and a great projection-based draft by the Tennessee Titans.
An approach that makes sense to you? Thinking ahead?
Well, I mean, like now you dart throwing. Like, I mean, like now you're making sure that you try and find the best players, the guys who have the redeeming traits that you think will give them a chance to make the team and go for it.
So we'll head back to Pittsburgh right now. The Giants are on the clock. Keep in mind they have 3 more selections, including this one, all of them in round number 6.
What's up, Pittsburgh? First of all, to my lovely wife and my lovely son Connor at home, I love you. And Big Blue Germany, this one is for you. With the 186th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Football Giants select Bobby Jameson-Travis, defensive tackle, Auburn. Let's go, Giants!
All right, so it's a kid from Auburn. That's a win here. Think about this rise, though. Iowa Western Community College for a couple years before he ended up with the Tigers.
My man Rex Hogan, who was assistant GM of the Jets, was over there as a consultant with Auburn this year, headed to South Carolina. Congrats to Rex. But I asked him, anybody on the roster I need to know about that is not going to the Senior Bowl? Anybody I need to know that could pop? He goes, Bobby Jameson-Travis has NFL-type movement, quickness. He's the type of guy that we see in the league that can make a team. So he's got some quickness, he's got some traits, he's got some penetration. He's basically a developmental player who's got some plus physical ability and athleticism.
All right, we'll keep it inside the division from the Giants to now the Commanders.
With the 187th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Katron Allen, running back, Penn State.
7th running back now off the board.
Still a low number.
You're right about that. What do I need to know about Allen? Because I know we talked a little bit about Nick Singleton a little bit earlier, who did get hurt.
He did get hurt, but the difference was Katron Allen was the guy that kind of took over. After James Franklin was fired, Katron Allen went to the front seat when it came to the running back. And he is what I call a bit of an oozer. Not a lot of speed, same speed type runner, whatever. In fact, I wrote in my notes, he reminds me a lot of David Montgomery. David Montgomery in terms of not changing speeds. But look, physical runner, put up 1,000-yard season. He has a lot of production, but it's not that explosive, pizzazz type production that you see. But he's a solid running back, and to get him here in the 6th round is about where the talent would net out.
Bucky just hit you with a scouting term that I heard it last year for the first time, ooze. He oozes. It's not really complimentary, but it's also meant to just be descriptive in terms of not a twitchy player, more of a slow mover, but he has really good vision. He lets blocks develop. It's just that he's not an explosive, twitchy back. So if the lanes are closing down quickly, he's going to have a harder time getting through there.
Washington fans remember the name Alfred Morris?
Yeah.
He plays like Alfred Morris.
Well, you're hitting us with some guys that could play a little bit.
Well, I mean, they can play.
Well, the dude also did run for over 4,100 yards in his career. So.
No, I mean,
but remember, Alfred Morris gained a lot of yards, but when you looked at it, the number was that. It wasn't a lot of pizzazz to it. To me, if Katron Allen hits in this league, he's going to hit in a fashion like Alfred Morris was able to hit.
Hello from the ArcelorMittal orbit at the Olympic Park in London. I'm Max Whitlock, 3-time Olympic champion, gymnast from Great Britain. With the 188th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Anz Cooper, guards, Miami. Let's go Jets.
He'll beat you up now. Anz Cooper, once he gets away from home base, his effectiveness declines quite a bit. But if you want to play, him right there in that gap, if you want to battle in the A gap or the B gap, you're going to have a hard time against Anz Cooper. What he is a power player who does a really, really good job of imposing his will on people who want to stand in front of them and swap power. You want to swap paint on the helmets, and you want to just get into a physical confrontation. He's pretty good at that. I think, when you put him in space as a pass protector, when you put him in space in the running game, you ask him to move a little bit too much. But except I say that, but look at him right here. Oh! One-on-one drills, O-line, D-line, and he got the win with a one-handed grab. Watch this, Bucky. Creates late space. Late, and 99 that's just poor ball tracking and timing in terms of defensively. But the big man, I assume something happened to the defense. They had to run something like that. So anytime the O-line gets a win, it's a good step for humanity.
OBJ smiling somewhere watching that highlight. Some of the big fellows trying to do what he can do. I want to just circle back on Cleveland and just put a bow on that conversation, because I think that quarterback room is really compelling. You mentioned some of those names there. Green, just because it's similar in terms of round, right? It's like Shedeur wasn't expected to go in the 5th. That's what happened a year ago. Green gets drafted in the 6th round. Grade-wise, like what? Comparable, not comparable?
Comparable to Green or comparable to Shedeur Sanders?
Shedeur.
I would say Shedeur had a much higher grade than Talon Green, but now that they're in the building, it doesn't really matter. You got a new coaching staff. It's wide open. So whatever he does is going to set the table for what he becomes.
A year ago, it was the most fascinating quarterback room, I thought, in the NFL. This season, I think you can make that same argument, because now we're having some rumblings about Deshaun Watson maybe being able to earn that starting job. Back to Pittsburgh we go for the Cincinnati Bengals selection.
With the 189th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Brian Parker II, tackle from Duke.
I missed that. What school did he say he's from?
Whatever school it was, he's somewhere where they're playing. This is interesting because people have made the comparison. Was it Graham Barton that came out a few years ago at Tampa?
He played tackle over there.
He bounces all around, and it'll be interesting where they project him. I see on the page they have him at center, but he played outside of tackle. He is a guy that has the multi-positional flexibility that you want. That is great for the Cincinnati Bengals. We just talked about them trying to find different ways to protect Joe Burrow. He's another guy they can throw into the mix as they upgrade their offensive line.
Yeah, he's also a player who can play guard center. I think he projects best as a guard or center. I was keeping an eye on Jacksonville because I think his fiance is Tony Baselli's daughter.
Oh,
but did not go there.
No.
With the 190th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Barion Brown, kick returner, LSU.
Look how they announced him.
Well, that tells you exactly what he's going to be when they say kick returner. So don't come in here thinking you're going to catch a whole bunch of passes. You're getting out there on the jugs machine and doing it. But look, we always talk about digging in the background. At the bottom of the screen, they talked about this dude won back-to-back 100 and 200-meter titles in the state of Tennessee. Wow. So that speed is ooh-wee. He is fast. So they're trying to find various ways to get the ball in his hands, but get up under that jug, you can catch these kicks.
6 kick return touchdowns and a career average of 29.4 yards a game. Basically, New Orleans said, they just told you, he's a kick returner, as Bucky said, and he is a bona fide kick returner. That's why he was drafted right here. We got a new kick returner in New Orleans.
Hi, Pittsburgh. Thank you, NFL and P&G, for inviting us as we kick off the 4th year of the Latino Youth Honors Program.
I just want to say thank you to my parents, thank you to the Latino Youth Honors Program, and shout out Coach DeMuzio and Lafayette College. With that being said, with the 191st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Josh Cameron, wide receiver, Baylor.
Pretty athletic guy, by the way, guys. Just throwing this out there. I mean, you think about just the strength from the wide receiver spot. 395 on the bench, 528 on the squad, a 319 power clean, and the dude runs almost 22 miles per hour.
He's a running back. It's good that he wears number 34 because he's basically a running back who plays wide receiver. When you see the way he moves, he's not a separator, but he's extremely physical at the point of attack, and he's very tough to bring down when he's got the ball in his hands as well. So going to have to find some ways to get the ball in his hands and give him a chance to just roll over, run over some of these corners.
Meanwhile, the Giants, it'll be back-to-back picks for the G-men here in round number 6.
With the 192nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select J.C. Davis, guard, Illinois.
Multi-year starter, played tackle over there at Illinois. So he's came from New Mexico, where he was a 2-year starter there. Then he got 2 years of starting in the Big Ten, where he's third-team All-Big Ten, then first-team All-Big Ten this year. So this is a guy with a ton of starting experience. He's played a ton of football. He's got massive wingspan. I think he's a little average from an athletic standpoint. I think the upside is just okay, but he's highly experienced and played for Brett Bielema, which I think is a positive.
With the 193rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jack Kelly, linebacker, BYU.
I think, can you check and see? I think he might have been a freak also.
Here we go.
Well, when I say that, I need to give context.
Yeah.
I think Jack Kelly may have been on the freak list.
On Bruce Feldman from the Athletics freak list. He's not.
He's not. Okay. Well, I think there was some expectations that he would be because he came over as a transfer portal player where he had played at Weber State, and they loved him. He came over and they said he immediately was hitting everything in spring practice. He had this great leadership right off the bat. He's got good acceleration. He's a player. He ran a 4.57, not bad in this day and age. 37-inch vertical, 10.5 broad jump. Pretty good tester there, and a player who I think will make this team based on his ability to play on special teams. But you saw, that's the interesting thing about his ability. He's got some rush. Like, he's got the ability, kind of knows how to rush a little bit too. He's not a guy who just runs around you. He's got some ways that he can beat you at the top of the rush. So it will be interesting to see how the Giants end up using Jack Kelly, but will be on special teams.
Mentioned some of the measurables, by the way. 20-yard shuttle. 4.19. That was tied for the fastest in the linebacker group as we head back to Pittsburgh.
What's good, Pittsburgh? All right, before I get started, I got to shout out Caroline, my mom, and my grandma. Without these women in my life, I would not be able to stand up here on this stage. But without further ado, with the 194th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Pat Kugan, center, Indiana.
Pat Kugan, noted dirt dog of the Indiana. By the way, that's a term of endearment. From Indiana, played at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, apparently the word was Notre Dame just said, listen, it may not work out for you here with Notre Dame. And that's one of the things that happens with portal. You can portal in, you get portaled out sometimes. He went into Indiana and just really helped to solidify and fortify the team, not just with his football play. His football play was pretty good. But I think where he helped bring the culture of brotherhood together in an offensive line that had other portal guys in there, and they had a commonality that they felt like they were guys who weren't respected the way they should have been. They had a real chip on their shoulder and they played like it, and they were the heartbeat. Roman Hemby, Kalen Black, and the offensive line really did a lot of the heavy lifting, even though Fernando Mendoza gets most of the love.
With the 195th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Malik Benson, wide receiver, Oregon.
Tell them, Buck.
Speed. The ability to make big plays down the field. That's what you're hoping for when you get Malik Benson. You take him with the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a dude that really has come on board. You saw him bounce around a little bit, Alabama and Florida State, but the speed is real. He runs past people over and over and over again. There appears to be like a little lack of confidence in the hands, but man, his speed and athleticism stands out. If he catches the ball, he's going to make big plays happen. It's just a matter of continuing to work on the practice field to get him better, but you see the redeeming traits and qualities are right there for him.
Kendrick Law, Malik Benson, two Alabama wide receivers, and what do they both have? Electric speed, true track speed, and that was something that we talk about, players coming from certain schools and how they recruit, and Nick, for years, Nick Saban was ahead of the curve because he was recruiting with an NFL scouting profile where he looked for guys who are big, physical, strong, fast. He looked for guys who could play NFL football. That's what those are the traits he looked for.
By the way, if you watch the matchup against JMU, big performance for him at 119 receiving yards, had those 2 receiving touchdowns as well. So it was a big look. Oregon obviously had a big time offense. Kenan Sadiq also part of that, who was a first round pick by the Jets. So just something to throw out there as you look at just some of the athletic ability.
Oh, a little long jump.
That is no joke. By the way, bad job by me, since we're talking about athletic skill. A couple picks ago, it was Jack Kelly coming off the board to the Giants. Lance, you asked if he was a member of Bruce Feldman's Freak List, and I said no. I was wrong. The answer is yes, and I think it speaks to everything that you were describing. Speaking facts here, Patriots, it is in. Boy, they were killing all of their clock. And here is the selection. Crownover is their guy. Another Texas A&M kid. That tally just continues to skyrocket for that program.
Big, long tackle. Feet and hands aren't quite tied together. Extremely high cut. Very, very long legs, which can make it a little bit tough to redirect whenever you've got to pass protect when people try to make an inside move. But he plays upright, but he is an athletic player despite the fact that he plays upright. He has over 35-inch arms. There's a lot of traits that you really, really like about him, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So this is another tackle. This one could be, and honestly, it's interesting because we're in the 6th round, but this might be Morgan Moses, potentially Bucky. Maybe we're moving Will down to guard. Trying to look at everything. Maybe Will's going to guard.
It's funny. I know they're adding a lot of tackles, and I know that later on, I know Will's going to start feeling a certain way.
You can never have enough tackles, though, right? I mean, because when you don't have the tackles, it's a nightmare.
All right, let's get back to Pittsburgh right now. I mentioned A&M and all the draft picks that they have, tying Ohio State and now Clemson with 9 selected. So that is most in the draft. The Rams have been making some news in this draft because of their first pick. Let's find out what they do in round 6.
Hi, Pittsburgh! Yes, sir! ¡Viva México! Estoy muy orgulloso de estar aquí con mi esposa. Les mando un fuerte abrazo a todos. Mi familia en León, en Irapuato, Guanajuato. Su casa es mi casa. ¡Vamos, Rams! With the 197 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select C.J. Daniels, wide receiver, Miami. ¡Vamos, Rams! ¡Let's go! ¡Lo hice, mamá! ¡México!
Well, he's not fast. C.J. Daniels, 4'5", 40, but man, does he make plays on the ball. He has got great ball skills. You're going to see a play coming up here in a second where you can see it. He comes back to the football, adjusts. Whenever you throw the fade route, he is going to beat you when the ball is in the air. He's got exceptional ability to make adjustments and to track. And then we're going to see a catch. I think we're going to see a catch against Notre Dame here in just a second that is just a jarring. Well, that's an outstanding catch too. Here it is. Yeah. Watch this one. Zoo! Oh yeah, it's kind of got a little Odell light on it right there.
That was impressive. Let's get back to Pittsburgh. Here's the Vikings pick.
With the 198th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Domani Clayborn, running back, Wake Forest.
Bucky, sometimes you go shopping, right? And they see you got a little clearance rack, and you go in and you're like, ooh, how did this make it here? And it becomes your shirt. It becomes your shirt. This is what I'm going to wear. And then you're like, I stole this. Domani Clayborn is that shirt on the clearance rack because he's way better than a 6th-round pick. Now he's undersized, so he is a small running back for sure. But he has rare acceleration and burst, and he has some real home run potential. Reminds me of Keaton. I'm trying to remember who played for the Jets. Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who he reminds me of here because when he gets going, it's Juice City.
He was that team's offense. I remember talking to Jake Dickert, who took over that program. I said, hey, what's the start been like? He goes, my first call was Clayborn, and he was able to keep him.
With the 199th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Emanuel Henderson Jr., wide receiver, Kansas.
I actually referenced this earlier, Bucky. I want to see how many times, you see right there, he's a first-team All-Big 12 kick returner. Okay, that's really impressive, right? He's as a wide receiver, he's okay. He has to learn how to run his routes a little better. You see a lot of this
He's
stuff.
a strider.
Yeah, long strider. There you see a little bit of just okay tracking the football in there. But where he really stands out is he is a very good kick returner, but he's also a very good gunner. And usually don't have the mentality. One is a getaway, getaway trait, and the other one is a hunting trait. And so you don't see that all the time. But I think he's got a chance to be one of those rare full-time gunners and full-time kick returners. And I don't know that we've seen that much in the NFL.
He runs angry, so I can kind of see that a little bit.
Yeah, aggressiveness. And let's be honest, there have been some wide receivers that have made the transition to being a special team standout, but you got to have a little cray-cray in you. And he has some of that with the anger that he runs with. But we'll see if they can do it. Long strider, see if he can become a playmaker. That's that. Oh, my guy.
USC's own.
Domani Jackson.
Formerly.
Yeah, formerly USC. And this is why this is a good pick. My guy, who is scout extraordinaire for the Green Bay Packers, Sammy Seal, lives in San Diego. Domani Jackson is a guy that's from down that way, but he ended up playing at Mater Dei. This was a sprint champion in high school, like just super fast. You see the time, 10.25. That's legitimate track speed. Makes his way eventually to Alabama. Injuries and those things prevents him from ever truly kind of showing his true impact after having a knee injury. But man, the talent is there, the IQ is there in Green Bay. This is a nice fit because that place has a knack for being able to take these kind of players, and they tend to thrive in that environment.
It's weird because his game against Georgia, the first game I think was really bad. Then his game against Georgia the second time around was really good in the same year. So it's the up and down, it's the consistency that gets him. He's got tremendous size, length, traits. Like he's got everything you want in a perimeter corner. So why is he going in the 6th round coming out of SC and Alabama? It's because he's just been inconsistent. But as Bucky mentioned, he's got sprinter speed. There's never been a doubt. The height, the weight, the length, and then the long speed. It's just a matter of putting it all together and getting the mind right and I think the confidence where it needs to be.
We showed that one clip of him taking off running, and as I'm watching, I'm like, man, he is so smooth.
And that's Rod Pleasant.
What he is on the track.
Yeah, he is super smooth, super fluid. 10.25 is legit time. That is fast. And I know he had an injury from that time he was in high school through, but that speed doesn't disappear. It's a matter of him getting back. But really, I would say it's the overall confidence. Playing with confidence, playing on the edges, playing like he is that 5-star or whatever that he was. If he gets that back, then Green Bay may have uncovered a hidden gem.
I remember doing a signing day show when I was still covering college football, and he goes to, it was
a big deal.
It was a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
When he had signed there.
Is it 5-star or 4-star? It was high.
Yeah, I think he had to have been a 5-star recruit. I'm looking at it right now. Top 15 prospect nationally that year. It is wild. So, look, it's not a predictor of success. We've seen that over the course of
our entire
lifetime. Yeah.
There's a lot. They don't miss often on those 5-stars. Yeah. Like if you look back, remember Drew Aller was a 5-star.
The problem is you think about impact, though, right? Like, how are you changing the game? And I think that's maybe part of the criticism here, which is why we're talking about him in round number 6. Here we go, Chargers.
With the 202nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Logan Taylor, guard, Boston College.
Logan Taylor, one of Billy O'Brien, formerly Houston Texan coach. He is the second offensive lineman off the board after Jude Bowery in the 4th round. Logan Taylor, who played some tackle. I think he's going to end up bumping down to guard, might be tackle guard flexibility, but he's a tough guy. The thing that I like about Logan is some of it's going to be the position flexibility, but the other thing is just going to be he's got some size, he's got pretty good length, and he's got 4 years of starting experience. So he's seen a lot of football. He's had an NFL coach in Bill O'Brien over there at Boston College. So when he gets into a camp, he's going to be ready, I think, mentally in terms of assignments and being, you're not going to have to tell him what to do. There's not going to be multiple reps for him. He's going to be an assignment-oriented guy who has NFL training from Bill O'Brien.
All right, pick 202 was the Chargers. They're back on the clock in a couple minutes with pick 206, and that will be, assuming no more trades, that'll be the final selection for them. Meanwhile, the Jags right now on the clock. They came into this draft with 11 total picks, so have an opportunity with 3 more in the 7th round to try to bolster that roster. We see exactly who that selection is.
With the 203rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select C.J. Williams, wide receiver, Stanford.
So you look at what he did in that Stanford offense. He was an honorable mention all-ACC guy, led a team that did struggle last year, finding some consistency that really wasn't there. Tavita Pritchard now takes over that program, so you have a coaching change. But what's the tape tell you on him?
Look, man, just a solid pass catcher, overall route runner. Had a chance to play that final season under Frank Reich, so he understands what NFL concepts are like, NFL coaching, and being able to adapt and adjust. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're a team that really prides high IQ playmakers on the perimeter. They're going to put a lot on the wide receiver, ask you to know or not with adjustments and those things. And if you can play multiple positions on the wide receiver, it's going to enhance his chance of being able to make the squad.
With C.J. Stroud, let's find out which direction they go at 204.
With the 204th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Louis Bond, wide receiver, Boston College.
Another Bill O'Brien player right here, Boston College, going 2 times in the last 4 picks. Louis Bond he is not an explosive athlete. I think that's one of the things that's gonna make it tough for him in the league to really stand out. Is he is a really good route runner, has very good feet, really understands the position and how to make the most out of what he does. But I think that the route running is going to have to really stand out for him because he's not a natural big-time separator. He's going to get a shot. He's going to get a shot from the slot. You got Tank Dell, who's in the last year of his contract, still isn't back 100% yet. You got Jalen Noel, who they drafted last year, who's also a kick returner. But you got a shot if you're Louis Bond. You hope to prove that you can be an inside-outside receiver and potentially compete for a wide receiver 5 spot.
That is 33 now wide receivers that we've seen drafted here.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a passing league. And the league, even though it's coming back more towards a balanced approach with the running game, it's still going to be 60-40, 55-45 on most teams.
We're up to 33 wide receivers? Is that true?
So in the 205th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the team with the best fans in Brazil, in Michigan, in America, in the whole entire world, the Detroit Lions select Skyler Gil-Howard, defensive tackle, Texas Tech. Let's do this. One pride worldwide, baby. Let's go.
Skyler Gil-Howard from Texas Tech, another one of those. If I remember correctly, he was a transfer portal player, and Texas Tech got into the playoffs because they understood how to bring players in who had the ability to fit into what they were looking to do. And he came over from Northern Illinois, where he was very productive. He's undersized, one-gapping player, uses suddenness and leverage to win at the point of attack. He gives blockers no reps off. I mean, this is a guy who plays with tremendous energy, tremendous heart, a tremendous motor at all times. I think he's going to have to be scheme dependent. So you can't just let him sit there and try to 2-gap, try to just stack and shed. That's not how he plays the game. He's a scheme dependent player who needs to be allowed to get up the field and attack in the gaps.
NFL 26 NFL Draft. The Los Angeles Chargers select Alex Harky, guard, Oregon.
All right, so another guy from Oregon that hears his name called, especially on that offensive line. Lance, this has become a little bit of a factory there.
Yeah, played at, as you can see, 3 different schools. He went from Colorado, then to Texas State, then to Oregon, so a little different pathway. But I like him. He was 337 pounds, I believe, last I saw the measurement on him. So he's a bigger player, carries it well, and you can see he'll splatter you. Now, he is a real tough, mean blocker, and he won't just pick on corners. He'll also pick on big guys in front of him. I see him as a zone scheme. I actually wrote this up. I think he's a zone scheme guard, which I know that sounds a little unusual for a 330-pound player, but that's what he is. He moves really well. He's athletic. He's tough. He's physical. So this makes good sense for me. And he's got some real attitude. So I think he'll have the attitude that Harbaugh likes and the toughness and the finish. And then he's got the athleticism. He did it at inside-outside zone at Oregon as well. I think this is actually a natural fit in Mike McDaniel's new running game.
What's the one thing, because I know you write this up and I know you've told me about kind of your dad's experiences coaching offensive line. Like, what's the one thing over the years that was just kind of hammered home when you were doing your evaluations and write-ups?
That you have to have functional strength. Like, everyone loves to see the feet and everyone loves to see the quickness, but if you're not strong enough to withstand the power of an NFL player, they will hit you with the same thing over and over and over again. That's like if you didn't put the right defender on Akeem Olajuwon on a block and you just wanted to single him up, Rudy Tomjanovich would throw the ball into him 50 times in a row. He's like, I'm not changing that. It's the same thing. If you don't have the ability to match strength at a functional level, you can't play in the NFL.
To be clear, though, which defender could check the dream?
Well, that's why you got some
David
help.
Robinson that year. David Robinson was
the year when he won MVP.
He got his career. He ended his career.
David Robinson.
You're doing that on purpose. You're doing it on purpose.
David Robinson.
Why are you doing David Robinson like that?
Yeah, David Robinson won MVP.
Do David Robinson like that?
The year he won MVP,
I loved it. They gave
Olajuwon
him the MVP.
Annihilated him.
They gave him the MVP right in front of Olajuwon.
We saw what happened after that.
Oh, Dream didn't like that at all. No, you got to be strong.
No.
Yeah. Well, we've got enough basketball between me tracking the Rockets and Lakers, Bucky, and you with your Knicks.
Crying about the Knicks.
We've got a lot of playoff basketball we're kind of tracking.
Yeah, there's some of that stuff that's been going on. All right, so Philadelphia, can we circle back to the Cole Payton selection? Because I think that generated a little bit of buzz from you guys. They went quarterback with their previous selection. We'll figure out who they go at 207, but just broadly speaking, it seemed like you were a little surprised by that with Green.
I mean, I was just surprised by the fact that, like, I understand why they took him. Like, there had been about a buzz. People were talking about him potentially going in the third round. So I'm not surprised that he went. They wanted to do a threat playmaker, much like what they have in their starting quarterback, a rugged quarterback. So it makes sense from that standpoint. I'm just saying that Talon Green was a more explosive and dynamic athlete.
Here we go at Philadelphia's pick in the 6th round.
With the 207th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Micah Morris, guard, Georgia.
They'll tell you at Georgia, man, this is a guy with 5-star traits. 6'5 1/4, 334, 33 5/8 arms, big hands. He is a good athlete, can move can move quickly. He's got everything that you want. The problem is he has a hard time keeping his weight down. And I think the real key, a lot of times you see this with the offensive linemen, teams have to believe that you have the want to and the desire to be disciplined enough to keep your weight down. Because when his weight is right, he's a potential starting guard in the NFL. It's just that the weight has been a problem for him going up and down, and that's a concern.
That's what's keeping me from being a starting guard.
Yeah.
I just can't manage the weight. I'm not disciplined enough to manage the weight. We got the sweets in there. We got the donuts and Starbucks.
Why are you looking me dead in the eye as you say this? I'm just saying.
That's the thing that's keeping me from being a starting guard. I just can't manage my weight. So I'm gonna work on that.
Looking at me?
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna put it on my vision board.
So I do happen to have some Starburst next to me right now.
Peanut butter and jelly earlier. I think you had it too, or no? You didn't.
I know I did.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours we're out here. You got to eat like a human,
right? You got to eat. Then I had a grilled cheese sandwich like I was 3 years old.
I got some extra Starburst next to me, literally right on set, if you'd like a couple of those sweets. You know, one of the other things that sort of rings
Look
here.
at him on a pull.
Yeah.
Pull a buck. I mean, it's get your weight down to about 325 and go make NFL money, Micah. That's what you got to do.
You know, I went through some of the school rankings. Like Texas Tech right now has got 7 players, 5 of those guys coming on defense. A&M, Clemson, Ohio State leading the way, 8 players as of 9 players. See, John's the best. We need to get John on camera helping us out. He's just awesome. So 9 players for those schools right now. I see another Georgia guy go off the board. Like when you get late here, I got to imagine like it's a little bit of an uptick, right? Like pedigree, school, success. Why
People
not?
will say that it doesn't matter, but it absolutely matters, like where you go. That pedigree matters. And I remember having a conversation with Ron Wolf all the time, and he talked about like he always would steer clear of small school guys. I want the best players from the best programs because I know they can handle what the biggest stage is. And so I understand why they're taking them from Georgia and other schools.
Yeah, Georgia, by the way, 8 guys for them.
Well, it's going to be hard for small school players to get drafted anymore anyway because when they get developed,
we take them.
They're gone. They're in the portal. They go SEC. They go Big Ten.
Hola Pittsburgh. Hola Monterrey, la ciudad de las montañas. Y saludos desde México hasta la Patagonia a todos los Dirty-Birds. With the 208 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Ontario Thompson, DT, Washington. Woo! Rise up!
Explosive interior defender, 3 technique, a little bit undersized. We can play the 1, it can play the 3 in a 1-gapping scheme. So if you want somebody to get off the ball quickly and get into the gaps, look at that, a 4.73 40-yard dash. Like that's running faster than a lot of the tight ends that have been drafted today. So he's got that ability. He really popped on my radar because of big testing that he had. I asked a team, I had a list of some players, said, which one of these guys do I need to write? And they said, Ontario Thompson, you need to write in. And when I watched the tape, I understood why, because he has a superpower, which is be quick, and he can block kicks if he needs to, but he's got that ability to get into gaps and disrupt. So you take that terrific quickness and you see if you can do something with it. I'll be interested to see if they play him 3 technique or if you want to just say, well, actually Atlanta's going to 3-4, so I don't know how they're going to play him.
And on top of that, like I'm just looking at the path here, and once again, I mean, this is sort of the world of college football that we live in. Iowa Western Community College, Iowa, Western Michigan, and then Washington. Like that's a little bit of a lumpy path.
It's a lot, man. But like I hope he had month-to-month leases. It's hard. It's just hard to bounce around so much. I don't know how you
but it happens
everything
a
done.
lot.
Man,
Alex Harky played at 3 schools. Yeah. Just looking at some of this list, Skyler Gil-Howard played at 2, Ontario Thompson, a bunch of schools you mentioned. I mean, it's college football now. It's changed a lot. Just we didn't have time to focus on it, but it is different now. So there's a new thing where teams say you pay the kid, you pay the boy, and we'll pay the man, meaning transfer portal teams want to come in and take the player who's been developed, that you spent the money, bringing him into your program when you recruited him, and then teams are swooping in and saying, we'll take the man once he's developed. And that's why you're going to see more and more teams. It's going to become the norm to see players who have played at a minimum of 2 schools.
Yeah, it is wild. I've been talking to a lot of college football coaches over the years. They're saying just that. I'm developing this guy, and then all of a sudden they get an offer for a couple $100,000.
We need a transfer fee in there. Slow it down.
Yeah, they are out.
With the 209th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Matt Golbin, center, Michigan State.
Ooh, this guy is tough. Matt Golbin is a good player. I had him going in the 5th or 6th. Well, I guess this is where he's supposed to go. This is something I see frequently. There's been so many centers since I've been doing this. This is my 12th draft with NFL.com and NFL media, and I've written a lot of centers from Michigan State. They just have a way. A lot of times there's wrestling backgrounds for these guys, and I think Golbin was one of those guys who wrestled before. He is a 3-year starter, takes good angles to linebackers, pushed Michigan around. He got into a battle against Michigan, and he was like pushing their guys around. And they got Rayshon Benny may get drafted, who's a defensive lineman, but Golbin said, "Oh, I got a rivalry game. I'm going to show you put a little something extra on tape," and that stood out to me that he played that well in a rivalry game against a good team in Michigan.
Guten Tag, Pittsburgh. Guten Tag, Steelers Nation. With black and yellow pride, I'm representing Borussia Dortmund here today, one of Europe's most successful soccer clubs, and we are proud partners of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
not just because we share the same colors and long winning traditions, but also the best fans in the world. But we also very proud to say that both our cities were built on steel. Here we go. And now, Sasha, over to you for the honors of the draft pick.
With the 210th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kings of the North, Pittsburgh Steelers, select Gabe Rubio, defensive end, Notre Dame.
So this is kind of I did not write him up, but he's an interesting player because he was a defensive tackle at Notre Dame, and he made the switch to offensive line. What do we have going on here? Oh, all the rookies are there. Cool. Look at that. Look at Dunker. You can't miss him. So Gabe Rubio is one of the. So basically, there's a scout somewhere in that region who said, "I think I got a secret winner for us here." Yeah. This is a guy who played defensive tackle for 3 years, was not even a starter at Notre Dame. They flipped him to the offensive line this year. He started the first 5 games, I think, or started 5 games, and then he was out the rest of the year. So there's not really enough tape for anyone to get hyped on him, but they wanted to lock in on a guy they thought they had upside there.
With the 211th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Ryan Eckley, punter, Michigan State.
Go.
You asked for it.
Didn't have the run on Punter.
Ryan Eckley out of Michigan State. This is a guy that was the conference punter of the year last year. Actually led FBS play, 48.5 yards per punt.
Yeah, and I did expect him. I've got him going in the 6th round, which is exactly where he goes. 3-year punter. He has solid gross punt numbers, but they get washed away too often by the returns. So I think, right here, you see him hang one up. That's great. But he has had an issue with poor hang time numbers, and you can't do that to this guy, Caden Wetjen. We saw him earlier get drafted. He can take it to the house on you. But he has the ability to really bang it. The special teams coach is going to really have to drill home that, hey, we're going to take some off the distance, we're going to add some to the hang time, and we're going to start to improve our gross number, because you can't just keep out kicking the coverage. If you do that, it wipes away your long punts and it puts us in a tough spot. But he's got NFL ability without question.
All right, Patriots, by the way, on the clock. We'll get back to Pittsburgh for this selection and figure out exactly who that player is going to be.
With the 212th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Nnamdi Obayazor, linebacker, TCU.
He is one of my favorite guys to watch on tape just because. So Caleb Elarms-Orr, who went in the 4th round, was the first TCU tackle off the board. And Obayazor is the second one, Nnamdi. And I'll tell you what now, he is so much fun to watch. He has great instincts. He's almost never in the wrong place. He knows how to circumvent blocks on a regular basis, whether he's punch and play off or whether he's just sidestepping them. I think he is a real steal here at the back end of the 6th for the New England Patriots because he's such a smart player. And he'll be a make-it player on that level. Mark my words, he's got some really good tape. I thought his tape was more consistent than Elarms-Orr, just Elarms-Orr is the better athlete.
Pick at 25 overall.
With the 213th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Jordan Vanderberg, defensive tackle, Georgia Tech.
Well, he had freaky test numbers. This is probably the preeminent tester in the entire pro day cycle. One of the most. So I'm going to give you some numbers. 6'3", 310 pounds. Okay, that's pretty good. Ran a 4.9, 440, which is good. 36-inch vertical, 9'11 broad jump. Ran a 4.19, 20 short shuttle. And then had 35 reps on the bench press. Ran fast, was quick, and was strong. When you watch him on tape, he doesn't look like much on the hoof when you look at the body type, but he is Really quick off the ball. He plays with an exceptional amount of intensity on every single snap. He gets after blockers really, really well. And I think he's a player who's got a chance to compete, maybe a practice squad player. But you're betting on traits right here. You're betting on the testing, and you're betting on the potential for him to be one of those gritty, make-it guys back into the roster. Kind of works their way up because of how hard he plays.
You go for it.
No, I'm glad you brought up practice squad, because practice squad is what should be the destination for a bunch of these guys in terms of what you're hoping for. Let me give myself a chance to get on the practice squad so I can extend the developmental process and then make my way onto the roster later in the year, particularly with the call-up and call-down situation where you come up a few times. Some of these guys are hoping for that, and so you're looking for guys with traits, and you hope that you can turn those traits into potential that is actually realized.
You know, and you mentioned some of the metrics. This is a pretty good athlete here. Basketball, baseball, when he was in high school, played rugby in South Africa, moved to America when he was 10. His grandmother, national champion swimmer in South Africa. Grandfather, placed 6th in the Mr. Universe bodybuilding competition. The year that Arnold Schwarzenegger won it.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
So, Bucky, I want to ask you, as a former pro scout, I would think that matters when you have a family where that's that DNA, important. Yeah. Number one, it's in your DNA, but number two, there's a certain level of importance, and there's a certain natural competitive nature that exudes from the whole family. I'm sure the family gathering was just a lot of people playing tug-of-war and rugby out in the backyard, stuff like that.
Think about how we talked about Drake May and Drake May's family.
Yeah.
Brother played basketball in North Carolina, had another brother that was a pitcher at Florida. We talked about those battles and how they helped form and shape Drake May.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive when you just look at the family lineage and an opportunity to try to get it done in Chicago with the Bears. The Colts right now are on the clock. They have 2 more selections after this one, both of them coming in the 7th round at 237 and 254.
With the 214th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Caden Curry, defensive end, Ohio State.
You just avoided a steak dinner.
I know. I was just looking at that.
Very lucky. I was expecting a different player.
There's a part of me that's asking, do I get a dinner now? What's going on?
I was very careful how I worded that. I made a prediction. I was wrong. Caden Curry, Ohio State, was a productive end. The traits are just okay, kind of short-armed. Came over, let's see, I believe he was also a transfer portal player. Was he just on the bench? I think he was
just on the bench, actually. Yeah.
Okay, but he was very active, kind of in that Jack Sawyer mode.
Yeah.
Was not the same player as Jack Sawyer, but when he had his opportunities, he plays really, really hard. If you don't finish him, take the foot off the gas at all, he ramps up secondary effort as a rusher and gets into the pocket. You'll see a lot of these reps are coming from the interior. That's one of the areas where he had some success, was rushing in the interior. And I know the Indianapolis Colts don't mind taking guys like Tyquan Lewis from Ohio State and taking him from defensive end and really using him a lot to rush on the interior. So it wouldn't shock me if Caden Curry ended up getting some reps inside in camp to see how he does as an interior rusher on sub packages.
9th in the country in sacks. He had 11 of those, and if we're tallying things up, 10 now. First to double digits. Ohio State. Curry now is the 10th
every year. You know, it's Ohio State's cranking them up year after year. We've had the runs, right? We've had Georgia, LSU did it. Ohio State's really starting to own the draft day.
Yeah, no question. Meanwhile, it is the Atlanta Falcons back on the clock.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Big honor. Big shout out to Drake London in a way of saying thanks for the invitation and this jersey. And now, with a 215th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Harold Perkins Jr., linebacker, LSU. Welcome to the team. Rise up.
Rise up. This is why you look at a player's total body of work when you do the evaluation. A few years ago, Harold Perkins Jr. was a cast me out. Everyone was talking about him and celebrating him like he was a top 20 pick. Then he has a couple of lean years, has an injury, then comes back, and you don't necessarily see the same kind of production that you saw very early in his career at LSU. However, the athleticism, the speed, and all that is real. The tough thing with Harold Perkins Jr. is what is his natural position at the next level. He's a bit of a tweener. Can you put him as a sub package playmaker where he comes in and does some of the things that we've seen, like safeties like Nick Emanuel, not saying he's safety, but like a linebacker that has a designated role to blitz and chase and do all those things? Finding a role is going to be the major thing for him as he tries to make it in the league.
Is that a carry? So I think you made a great point, Bucky. When he showed out, he had this incredible game against Arkansas. I'll never forget the game when he was a freshman. And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh,
he's the next.
This is the next guy. This is Michael Parsons." And I don't think he's a natural linebacker. So if you're the Falcons, throw him out there off the edge. I think they give him a shot at the edge.
216th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Trey Smack, kicker, Florida.
Over here, Lance over here talking about, specialist we haven't done. All he did is just talk him up.
I spoke it into existence.
You
Bucky,
did.
Is what I did. I spoke truth to power for kickers like Trey Smack from Florida. Trey Smack, I got a good grade on him. And Trey Smack has a very strong leg. He can deliver beyond 50 yards with no problem, gets the ball up in the air very quickly, so it's hard to block his kicks. Made 77% of his kicks 50 plus, 10 of 13 during his time. He did miss one in overtime against Tennessee, where where Florida lost against Tennessee in 2024. And most of the misses that I charted were off the right hash, for whatever that's worth. But this guy with the big leg, and in today's NFL, where you get past the 40-yard line and you are immediately in field goal range, where you get to the 40-yard line and you're in field goal range, these 50-yard kickers, this is a true weapon.
Well, this is standard now because it just talking about it shortens the field. When you have a guy that can consistently, and the expectation now is you need to consistently nail 50-yard kicks. They're not this novelty that they used to be. When we get to the 40-yard line, go in there and knock it down. And his ability to be a long-distance kicker is going to be vital to his chances of being able to make it for the Green Bay Packers.
By the way, for Smack, now he's got his new team. It's the Green Bay Packers. They traded up to get him. That was Seattle's selection. Don't look now, guys. Round number 6 is complete.